So let's jump into the prepared speeches. We have 3 exciting speakers tonight. To begin with, our first speaker, I'm going to give the introduction of the speaker. To complete the level 4 of dynamic leadership pathway, Jorge will be issuing a prepared speech titled Loyalty, a very important characteristics of a true leader. The purpose of this project is to practice the skills needed to address and manage difficult audience and the challenges faced when you present outside a structured and a very respectful Toastmaster club. The title of the speech, Loyalty, a very important characteristics of a true leader. Speaker number 1, Jorge Alba. Jorge.
So by the show of hands, how many of you think that important attributes of a leader are, let's say, strength, empathy, kindness, communication? Anybody? I guess everybody. What about loyalty? How many of you think that loyalty is a very important trait or skill? Well, I guess everybody agree that loyalty, along with the other one that I mentioned before, it's a skill that defines a leader and define any person. And anything else is the most important attribute to have a person being called a friend. In times of need, all these traits that I mentioned before are important, but the most important one that makes a person reliable is that trait of loyalty. That's what makes a partner, a good partner, a good spouse, a good friend, but everything else a good leader. But what is loyalty? What do you think is loyalty? Anybody wants to share with me what you think about loyalty? One person in this group?
Loyalty.
Well, loyalty to me, Jorge, as some people have told me before, is when a leader is talking or is even going the wrong way, just continue to support him and back him up. That's some people's definition of loyalty, which I vehemently disagree with. But again, that's the only definition that I've ever heard. Back to you, Jorge.
Thank you very much, Hakim. Thank you, and I appreciate your point. But we have to understand that loyalty means different things in different countries, even in different religions of culture. So it's kind of a cultural belief system. So as you said, it's difficult that everybody will agree on a definition. However, I am going to use the Webster Dictionary definition that says that loyalty is a strong feeling of support of an alliance that conveys devotion.
Hey, Natalie, yes. Hey, can you pass me my folder over there, please?
Where is it?
It's in the kitchen. Hurry, I need it for the meeting. Hurry up.
I can't find it.
Please, I need the folder right now. And a pen, get me too.
I don't know where it is.
Okay, well, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Give me the pen.
Kim, please, you want to share with us what do you think about the definition of loyalty?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying to do something here. So sorry about that. I didn't realize. Sorry, so sorry.
That's okay. So as I was mentioning, loyalty means different things to different people. But that dedication, devotion, faithfulness could be to a person, a philosophy, a business, a product, a nation, or different things. But another thing that we have to take into account is that loyalty has changed through the years. Many, many centuries ago, early philosophers will say that you can only have loyalty to a person. But as time progresses, in latest years, now we can be loyal to a country, to an ideology, to a political affiliation. And in Western culture specifically, the concept of loyalty mostly applied to loyal to a nation, to the constitution, to a ruling party, to a government, or even, as we know, to a royal family. So the definition has changed through the times. And in an institution like the army forces is a very important concept. Loyalty is really the way they rule. However,
now Jorge, can I ask you? I mean, when you say loyalty, I'm hoping to say that even though you think that it's changed over the time, I really think that the base of the spirit of loyalty really it emanates from trust between people, between these groups. And I don't know if that's ever changed over the times.
Benet, please hold on. I heard what you said there. And when you talk about loyalty, in my world, the only loyalty definition that I really know is I am in a relationship with my lovely bride, my jewel of inestimable value, and I must not cheat on her. That is what loyalty is. I don't even know why we are talking loyalty and talking about anything else other than that. We are all adults. We are in a relationship. I believe most of us at least are. Will you agree with me, Benet? Because, I mean, why talk about loyalty?
I agree, because at the basis of the basis of what you're saying is trust. Trust between you and your jewel.
I think both of you got a point. I agree with you that they have a point, but I need more time to complete my presentation, and we are going to cover your concern. But I would like to include Anthony in the conversation. What do you think, Anthony, about Benet and Akim concept before we continue on with the conversation?
Well, I'd love to hear more of your insights on your presentation. And if we move forward, I'm going to listen to more of what you've got to share.
All right, thank you, Anthony. So continuing on, and we are going to touch on all those points. Everybody will get the chance to give me your input, and we are going to have time for some questions at the end. In the insert cultures, loyalty is more associated with rightfulness, benevolence, courage, sincerity, respect, and honor. So you see how it's different from Western cultures to insert cultures. And it's more of definition.
Enterprise. The enterprise should have different loyalty than cultures. Enterprise loyalty should be different. Cultural loyalty should be different. Just like Aki says, even relationship loyalty is different. Loyalty is so big. It's a big topic. Everybody talk loyalty on different levels, right? Loyalty.
Correct, but that's fine. But let me ask Jessica, what is her input? She has a different, I can see that she has a different view on this. Let me get her included in this conversation.
Thank you. I guess for me, loyalty to my family, loyalty to my husband, and loyalty to my employer too. Like I work here and then I devote my time and my passion to my work until I found this is not the right place for me. Then I may move on. So before I feel that, I'm always loyal to my employer.
Thank you, Jessica. And you see that even in a small group like the one we have here of 12 different people, we have different concepts, different ideas. But let me touch on another point before I conclude. In today's world, we have seen a transformation that now people is becoming loyal to a brand, to a business, to a consumer object, to certain personalities, artists, singers, whatever. Even certain products, some people is extremely loyal to Apple versus Samsung, or Samsung versus Apple, to Nike versus Adidas. So we are changing that. I will say we are demoting the importance of that concept of loyalty.
But Jorge, one more thing. I don't agree with that being loyal to some product is a loyalty. I would connect the loyalty to the humans, to the people.
Is
being
correct.
loyal to the product, I don't agree with that.
That is correct, Rafia. That is correct. And that's what I'm going to finish my presentation with. Why is loyalty important in general? I'm not going to pick up on one or another. We see how many different concepts we can manage here. People who possess loyalty are normally better individuals. They surround themselves with loyal people. They have heavy positive impact in their professional and personal life. It's one of the traits most important for success. Not only to be loyal to a leader, but also for a leader to be loyal to his followers. Loyalty teaches you about commitment. Loyalty teaches you about friendship, partnership. And the most considerate and conscious people are those people that are loyal to somebody else.
Yeah,
However,
but it still throws me off when you use the word loyalty, because it seems like sometimes it's out of place. Trust, being fair, that's great for leaders. Loyal to a certain point. You don't want to be loyal to a point where somebody is basically pushing the project off the cliff.
I love that you say that, because that's exactly what I'm going to do to conclude my presentation. I was going to say that even not all loyalty is good for you, because if you have blind loyalty, as you were saying, it could be
Yes.
detrimental for the
Okay,
quality
no
of your
problem. Yeah,
relationship.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Kimberly, Kim, what do you think about being loyal, blindly loyal to something? What do you
I'm
think
so
about
sorry.
not-
Hello? No. Hold on. No. This is not working. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's going to join us because let me finish, Kim. Being loyal doesn't mean that you suspend all your rational thinking and any criticism to any object of to the object of your loyalty, either a person, an object, a philosophy. To be loyal, you have to demand that you be totally honest with yourself and with your beliefs. So I think that answered your question, Ben. That you can be loyal, but that doesn't mean that you are blind about anything that is going in your loyalty. And really, to finish, I want to touch, and I'm going to, instead of concluding, because as I mentioned, there are many different aspects to this presentation, I am going to really present 3 quotes that I found really interesting that I think will summarize everything that we said here. 1, there is no loyalty in the heart of a traitor, only the false act of appearing trustworthy. Number 2, avoid those who seek friend or friendship in order to maintain a certain social status or to open doors that they couldn't open otherwise. Stay away from them. The final one, actually, I understand it's an African proverb. It says, a good friend may not disappear your problems, but he will certainly not disappear. He will not disappear when problems appear. That was by an African author. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Vincent Nochukwu, I believe. But I think these 3 quotes summarize everything that we discussed tonight. And with that, even though we are short of time, maybe a minute to go, I'm open for any questions from the audience. It was really a pleasure for me to be able to present this project tonight. And I know I pick up a tough topic. I intentionally selected a project that we could argue a lot, so I could have my presentation in front of you tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Great job, Jorge. Great job.
Great job, Jorge. Wonderfully done. Excellent. For anyone who did not understand what was going on, this is a rare speech. Jorge was set up here. Everyone that you saw were interrupting, that was a volunteer activity. Okay, my thing is not part of the interruption, right? Right. I would like to give a big kudos to our VPE Carol, who went ahead and set up this coordination between everyone who you saw here. Jorge did not know who is going to interrupt. Jorge did not know how they're going to interrupt. He chose, again, I'll leave the evaluation part to the evaluator to do the hard work here. Skills. Our next speaker is the author of top-rated book, New Rules for Hybrid Leaders, How Great Executives Inspire Employee and Client Engagement. It's the Agape Model Book #1. He will now share how project management readers are identifying and overcoming blind spots to live a more balanced life, work fewer hours per day, increase their global impact. Please join me in welcoming one who has dedicated his life to helping others have higher valued in eternal impact. Our friend Anthony Eli, and his speech title, How to Identify and Overcome Blind Spot. Anthony, floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Everyone can see this in presentation mode?
Yes.
No.
Perfect. Well, how do you identify and overcome blind spots, and why is it important? I'm going to start with simply saying that I want you to be realizing the power of one small micro action. This is from the 2009 Domino's presentation, where a young man moves a small domino, and all he does is tap it a little bit, that small domino that you see on the left, and very soon, the whole structure collapses within just a matter of 10 seconds. That's the power of one small micro actions. And I want you to become aware of this because you have the power of taking some small micro actions that will transform your life and the life of your company. But to do that, before we get there, I want you to know that there are certain blind spots that will come up. Around 640 BC, a prophet by the name of Jeremiah wrote about this, said, our hearts are wicked and deceitful above all things, no man can know it. We can literally be blinded to our own weaknesses. I have seen some incredibly smart, intelligent people share their great gifts to impact others, but one small micro action can kill a whole company. A few years ago, after getting back from vacation in Hawaii, Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer crushed our company, costing us billions of dollars and several hundred key executive connections with one small micro actions. Just like a butterfly can flap its wings in New York and impact the weather in Texas, the small moves that you make can truly impact the powerful positive direction or negative one that you will have. Every day you wake up, immediately we must decide how our micro actions can impact our life and the lives of many others. With that, I want you to think about before showing up tomorrow for your project, for your day, before turning on email or voicemail or anything else that you've got going, I want you to specifically focus on 10 minutes determining what is your highest timely returning investment in your project. Ask, what does my sponsor value personally and professionally? Out of all my deliverables, what is the one domino that could have the highest impact towards the objective that matters most to my sponsor, to the key stakeholders in the project? Example of this is a CEO who had started as a project manager, had developed this habit, and when he got up in the morning, within the first few minutes, he knew what was his top priority with his admin, and he delegated what he needed to do to others and focused on one action. Before everyone else had started their day, his day was over. He would be ready to go to the golf course, and his multi-billion-dollar company would run forward, accelerating growth. A couple of days ago, I was humbled to a project manager share with me how understanding this principle made all the difference in his life. As a project manager, he was feeling regularly overwhelmed, especially disconnected from others in his project. But applying this one principle, he starts saying no to a lot of projects, the specific deliverables, by meeting with the sponsor, meeting with the stakeholders, identifying regularly what mattered most out of everything that we're working on, and dropping everything else to focus on that specific item. As a result, he said, I had more time with my family. I could be more strategic because now I also looked at all my team members and I said, where are you most passionate about? Where are your greatest strengths? And he would enable those team members to take over those roles and put it off of his shoulder instead of trying to do everything himself. He became a leader rather than just a project manager. I want you to think about this because you also have the power to do the same thing. This power has always been available if we take 10 minutes to look for the top 2% timely return on investment. But to have this, we have to be aware of blind spots that get in the way. And how do we overcome those blind spots? Reality is that I have learned to ask for feedback. My wife, my bride, is often the incredible smart person who gives great feedback to me. I have authors and coaches that come into my life and give me feedback. I meet with 2 people every week to go over 4 dimensions of success: asomatos, relational, performance, and heart. And we bear everything to each other in order to overcome our blind spots. If you want to overcome those blind spots, you need to open yourself to someone in all these 4 dimensions. Just like the top executives and CEOs at Google and Microsoft and all the Global 2000 companies do regularly. Just like top athletes do, you want to open yourself up to mentors, coaches, trusted counselors in order to succeed. Now, I've shared with you some great principles, but I'm not sure if you are really ready to apply it, Because what I've realized from coaching people, that in order to apply it, we have to know this. There are three major blockers to applying these principles. Number one, we have a desire to add a lot of value. That can actually get in the way. We want to add so much value, get so much done, that it blocks us from getting the most important thing done. The second, we lack confidence. We say, I'm not the CEO of the company. I can't tell people what to do. I can't direct people. Instead of putting on the hat of CEO of My Name Incorporated and inspiring others, instead of having that confidence that I know what is most important because I'm listening to others and focusing on what matters. And third, a lack of ethical persuasion skills. If I cannot persuade others to get hard buy-ins, I cannot succeed as well. These three areas you're going to need to overcome. Get feedback, get mentors to help you to overcome these three areas in order to add higher value quickly. Along that line, there are a couple of authors you might take a look at. One of them is in my book, The New Rules for Hybrid Leaders. The other one, The $1 Trillion Coach, Bill Campbell, on how he coached Google to achieve their successes. With that, I want you to open up and realize what science and psychology has told us, that we all need encouragement. We need regular courage poured into our lives from others. And if we gain that regularly, just like you're doing by being present here tonight, you are going to succeed greater than you could by yourself. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Anthony. That was delightful times 20. Really loved the insights and every information that you provided. No wonder you are a wonderful coach and you bring people to their. Moving on, our third speaker, Rafia Safi. Leadership style has a direct cause and effect relationship upon organization, people, and their success. There are different styles of leadership. Recognize your preferred style. Our next speaker, her title is Understanding Your Leadership Style, Rafia Safi.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I am delightful to present my speech on understanding my leadership style. If somebody had asked me about my leadership style 18 months ago, those two words, leadership style, would be aliens to me. But after entering the Toastmaster platform, I'm able to understand and recognize the different aspects of that role. We all have the leadership skills within us. We lead our kids, our colleagues, our friends, our family, knowingly or unknowingly. And to me, the leadership qualities are within us. And to me, the leadership is something to serve others and not to be served. And I want that the leaders need to create an organization and a society that is not only productive, but also fit for all human beings. When I was studying and researching on my own leadership style, I came across a couple of questions. And I'm going to share the screen. That's going to be my first time sharing the screen. I hope everything goes well. Yeah, I think I can share. Yeah, there were some questions that I was asking myself. Okay, yeah, these are the ones that I was, yeah. So I asked these questions to myself. What do I value more, goals or relationship? Do I believe in structure or freedom of choice? Would I rather make a decision my own or collectively? Do I focus on short or long-term goals? Does motivation come from distraction, from direction, or empowering? What does healthy team dynamics look like? In the early phases of leadership, one has to go according to his or her own natural demeanor or temperament. But with the time you need to learn and adapt the different styles according to the situation and the people you are leading. Situational leadership simplifies management and organizational needs. It's an adjustable model that helps and ensures that people have enough support and encouragement, and they are not overmanaged or they are not suffocated. Leadership style has direct cause and effect relationship upon organizations, the people, their success. Leaders determine value, culture, change of tolerance, and employees' motivation. They shape institutional strategies, including their execution and effectiveness. There are a variety of leadership styles, but the ones that I want to share with you that is described by Brian Tracy. So he described these 5 leadership styles, and I would like to go through that. The one is structure. The first is structural, and then he says that that structure you choose, you assign and manage good decisions without the input of others. And another one is participative, and he says that in the participative leadership style, you value people, the team, and you maintain the friendship environment. And this friendship environment is a component of 3 things. He said time, care, and respect. And another style that he mentioned is servant style. Is the servant leadership style. He said that the serve and manage your team the way you like to be managed. You understand, and everyone understands their job. They have all the tools which they need. And the next is freedom style. The freedom leadership style is that you give your team freedom to perform when you assign a job. You stay out of the way. You comment and help only when it's needed. You leave means to them. And the next one is transformational leadership. It affects people's emotions by painting large picture of future. You transform people by tapping their hopes, dreams, and future. This style gives vision and future to get excited, committed to project. My personal leadership style that I would say is going to be the participative leadership style, because I am kind of person who is comfortable when everyone is cooperative, everyone is respectful, everyone is caring each other, and we understand each other. And I would say that is going to be the inclination of my leadership style, because I want to lead by examples, and I want them to have faith on me, and I want to have the trust on them as well. And I believe also in the leadership style that empowers others to accomplish personal goals and contribute to the successful completion of the group objectives. I would like to give guidance and the feedback throughout the journey. And understanding and recognizing and adapting the leadership style is an ongoing process. And then for me today, the takeaway for today, I would say that first of all, learning your own leadership style, and then adapting the leadership style according to the need, according to the situation or the people, and then monitoring the cause and effect of your leadership. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Rafia. That was wonderful. 5 style of leadership. We got some insights into that. That was really helpful. We can look into our table topic master will make us think on spot. I am going to hand this meeting over to our table topic master, Jessica. Jessica, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm delightful to be the table topic for tonight. And I really like the topic, the theme our Toastmaster selected. DEI, diversity, is basically the differences within a given setting. We could have different career paths, could be across business, different industry, different gender, different age, and different races, and different country geology. Equity is a company try to create an equal opportunity for all of us, regardless of the background, of the diversity of every one of us. Inclusion. As a worker, you feel you belonging to that workplace. So today I'm going to ask some questions around these three aspects. So try to focus your answer on this diversity, equity, and inclusion. So first of all, I'm going to look for volunteers. If you want to answer one question, please raise your hand. If nobody volunteer, I'm going to volunteer you. All right, Panay.
Jessica.
All right. Okay. If you are a leader of project, managers for project managers, and you're looking for a project manager in your group, do you want to hire someone who can do the work tomorrow? Or do you want to hire someone for potential or diversity, and why?
Well, that's a delightful question, Jessica. One of the things that I think I would want to look for, and I'm not sure if I understood the two choices, one person that can do the job tomorrow or one that has a diversified background, I guess, of some sort. I think I would rather pick somebody that knew how to do the job versus betting on this diversity. As a manager, I think that I would look for results. And at the end of the day, I think that's always going to trump the feel good situation of having a I don't want to say that word, a person just to fill a feeling. There's maybe a hard way to do that. I would always pick someone that could do the job. And I think this would go back to loyalty, and someone that I could trust, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to work with someone that you trust and that you could have it be open and transparent with in your discussions. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. I think it's most of the managers will probably choose someone that can do the job right away. You don't want to spend time to train them. You want them to be there because usually the budget is limited and they want somebody to be able to work right away. But for companies, for them to develop their futures, they may look into for future potential people. So it could be diversity, it could be any potentials that they could bring in, and then different aspect to this job. Yeah, so I guess everyone has different opinion, but I'm glad for your answer.
What would be great is if you had someone that could do the job and be diverse and had diversity, then there you go. But I think it's always the best candidate wins.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm going to choose the second volunteer. All right, Ben, it's yours. Okay, Ben, my question is very simple. Have promotion been limited for those with English as their second language? Have promotions been limited for those with English as their second languages?
Okay.
How
well,
do you feel?
Well, thank you for the question. It probably has, because it's human nature. A lot of times people look for attributes in people what they call leader or people to fill a position, but in reality, a lot of times they're really looking for things that make them feel the most comfortable and they're used to. And so if English is not their first language, communication is always going to be very important in leadership. So as you walk up the ladder, and if English is not their first language, that's one of the little things that people can use. It's like, it's not exactly the same, but the stuff we going through the NFL and all that stuff about being diverse and inclusion, it's just that it's one of those things. They look for reasons to not consider you. So English, as long as you are understandable and people understand what you're saying, then it should not be the case. But in reality, anything that's different than the person who's actually making the decision plays a role. And so even if they don't intentionally do it, I always say the end result's the exact same. You know, may not intentionally say, I'm not going to do this because this person don't speak English well, or whatever the case might be. But the end result is the exact same if you don't choose them, they don't get an opportunity when they're fully qualified to do it. So thank you. I appreciate the question.
Thank you. It's well done. I couldn't put together that good. Yeah. So yes, sometimes it is holding us back as English as second language speaker, but I guess if we make people understand and we understand them, and then we really show our values, it may not be limited. All right, because of the time constraint, I only have one more question. So who want to be the one and the last one? Anisha, do you want to give a try? You are muted.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, thank you. So my last question is, what can you do, or what can your coworker do to build a great workplace? What can you or your coworker can do to build a great workplace?
I feel like building a great workplace would, I guess, be subject to what the work is. If it's something that needs focus, they can be quiet, stay in their cubicle, be respectful. If it's something that requires like cooperation from each other, they can be understanding, they can have a team mindset, things like that. So for me, I just think it really depends on what job is needed to be done.
Thank you. Thank you for trying. It's really good. Thank you for your answer. I guess for me, I felt that a good workplace is every morning. I would say really well to good morning to other people, have small talk if I can, and at the end of the day, I say goodbye to people really, really well. And then that shows we have relationship. The other thing is serve others, not always waiting for other people to serve me. And then if we all do that, that's a great workplace. And also honor one another, even for very little things. People make the things clean, like kitchen clean, or something pick up, like something fall on the ground and they pick it up for you. Honor all those, and then take time to retreat. And I'm sure there's a lot more that we can do. We can contribute to be a better workplace. Thank you. That's all my questions for today. And
thank you, Jessica.
To the evaluation portion of our meeting, and I'll be calling the evaluators to evaluate the speeches. Our first Evaluator is Susan ally. Susan will be evaluating the speech given by Jorge. Susan, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. This is a very interesting and delightful pathway project that you chose to get better at. And that is to practice the skills needed to address challenges in a calm, effective, and professional way. No matter how well you've prepared your material for a presentation, there's always a chance that an interruption may occur while pitching in a new client, speaking at a conference or seminar, or leading a team meeting. Maybe not so much at Toastmasters Club because you're among supportive friends. Nevertheless, you respond to the interruption will be a reflection of how well you've prepared yourself mentally for the presentation. My evaluation will be based on how well you responded to the interruption during your speech, and then followed by perhaps some point of improvement also. You were able to stay calm and in control to manage your emotional responses. You do not allow people who interrupt to push you and push your emotional button. You responded politely with thank you. And your calmness sends a message that despite whatever has happened, you are still in control. I like it when Kim was interrupting with her phone calls and you responded with, Kim, would you like to share with us your thoughts about loyalty? Now that is one quick way of redirecting her and the audience back to your presentation. You have asked a couple of times for a specific audience to give an opinion about loyalty. So it occurred to me that this presentation is more like a discussion than a seminar or a lecture. You are purposefully introducing the possibility of interruption to your presentation, which is perfectly fine. In that case, you can use the interruption to further develop a point. Using the interruption can give you creative solutions, generate humor, or even change the mood of the room. An area of improvement you might want to think about. If you want an open mic discussion, then you might want to prepare only a very simple frame of what you want to talk about, like asking the audience, what do you think is loyalty? Or do you think loyalty is important? And then unfold the topic with your audience. However, if you want to control the majority content of the speech, then you might want to say, I appreciate that you have lots of questions, but I'm going to move on now so everyone else has a chance to ask questions. I'll be available afterwards if you'd like to continue the discussion, and say it with confidence. By being prepared for possible interruption, you're able to demonstrate your professional approach, and your presentation will have an even greater impact on your intended audience. If audience members are disagreeing with you, acknowledge their point of view. Sometimes what people want more than anything is just to have their views heard and validated. And in general, so no matter what they fling at you, just take the high road and then treat them with respect. If the challenge you're facing is a form of a single individual, then don't let that person take control. For example, if someone is badgering you on the nonstop questions and responding to that person directly by saying something like, I appreciate your question, but I will answer that at the end of my speech. While coping with the challenging audience is stressful, there's one consolation, and that is with each audience, you'll improve as a presenter because you'll become increasingly skilled as responding. And happily, most audience want you to succeed and will treat you accordingly.
Evaluator is our president, Ukpai Kalu. Ukpai will be evaluating the speech given by Anthony. Ukpai, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Anthony, it's a pleasure evaluating you tonight. Like you will always choose the concept of CDC, content, delivery, and connection. I want to use it to evaluate you tonight. In content, I'm looking at what message you're passing on. Starting with the topic, you talked about how to identify and overcoming blind spots. In your content, you were able to bring up introduction, which was very good and which to a large extent brought people to pay attention to what you were saying. In terms of delivery, using slides, PowerPoint, graphic, we're able to pass the message across. And people were able to see what you were saying and were able to look at it. And that brought the connection in terms of people being able to associate the words you were saying and the pictorial expressions on it. In terms of connection, I want to believe here, every one of us, we are looking at one way or the other to become better, just as you highlighted in the 4 dimensions. And when I looked at the 4 dimensions, I can readily agree with you, especially in terms of relational, hearts, because most organizations will always look at performance. I agree with you completely, and I believe every one of us here connects with that message of the 4 dimensions. You did not stop at that. You were able to also tell us what could be a hindrance to achieving those dimensions. And one of the things that really resonated with me when you talked about lack of confidence and lack of ethical persuasion. Many of our leaders may be victims of this. So that was great. Is there anything you could improve? For me, when you talked about what could stop us, I would have expected you to show it in your slide and take time to talk about it, because that is the key message. Other than that, it was great, and I give it to you. Congratulations. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Ukpai, for that detailed evaluation of Anthony. I love that methodology of content, delivery, and connection, and the fact that you added points that Anthony could take to improve his speech and come up with a better one next time. Our last evaluator is Kim. Kim will be evaluating the speech given by our third speaker, Rafia. Kim, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. A wonderful job to you, Rafia. You always do amazing on your speeches. My evaluation today will focus on what you excelled at, what you may want to work on, and how you may want to challenge yourself. In addition to the verbal evaluation, I'm going to rate your speech with the scale of 0 to 5 at the end of the evaluation. Understanding your leadership style is key to implementing plans and motivating people. Therefore, I feel that your topic was very relevant, and it was delightful for all of us to experience. So thank you for sharing that. Your introduction was pretty powerful, and you showed a lot of confidence at the beginning, and I was hooked right away. I feel like your introduction was the strongest part of your speech. You appeared comfortable with the audience, and you had a simple and laid out visual. You did not overwhelm us with your visuals. And overall, I feel that your speech was well prepared. It was well researched. And of course, you had a powerful conclusion where you were able to give us all a helpful summary and a takeaway for the audience. The next one is just a few things that you may want to work on is a few filler words here and there, and maybe eye contact, and just not looking away as much. I feel like your introduction, like I said, it was really powerful. Somewhere in the middle, you were looking away a lot. And I feel like that was a little, maybe just something that you can work on. And lastly, something that you may want to challenge yourself on is something that I'm working on myself, is memorizing my speech. That way I'm not, that way I'm engaging more with the audience more, and I'm not looking away as much. So it's something that maybe we can work on together. And lastly, this is the part where I'm going to rate a few key areas. I feel the first one is clarity. I feel like your spoken language was very clear and easily understood. So I gave you 5 out of 5 on that. Amazing vocal variety. I gave you 5 out of 5 on that. And eye contact, I'm going to give you a 3 out of 5 because your introduction was really powerful and your summary was very powerful. It's just the middle section. Otherwise, I feel like on those parts that you excelled at, I would have given you a 5 out of 5 on that. And then when it comes to gestures, you did a wonderful job just using your hand gestures. I would give you a 5 out of 5. Thank you so much, Rafia, and well done. Over to you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kim. That was a very solid evaluation. I picked up a lot of tips from that. Number one is to constantly display our confidence. Eye contact is what we have to do on Zoom. But I remember back in the day when we were on stage, you also have to hone the stage, right? You have to hone that stage to show that you are comfortable and you are confident. The second thing is memorizing your speech. I do not memorize my speech, but I have pointers. I use pointers of, okay, my introduction, this is the key phrase, and I would develop around that. And that is how you should use visual aid too. Pointers on what you want to discuss so that you don't overwhelm people. And Rafia, your slide was very good pointers to tell you, these are the leadership skills I want to talk about, and then you build around it. So great job, Kim. Great job, Rafia, for those great speech and great evaluation. We're going to move forward